Please welcome to the stage is Lindsey Sinclair.
Let me tell you about my grandparents. They were fun, feisty, independent people who I adored. Then one by one, their memories faded and they developed dementia. Dementia is not a diagnosis that anyone ever wants to be given, and it's normal to feel sad. But for 1 in 7 people with dementia, this becomes a crushing, malignant sadness that we call depression. This makes living with memory problems so much harder. Even though we can't cure dementia yet, we can treat depression though, right? Right? No, actually, we can't. For people with dementia, our normal depression treatments don't work. Studies have even shown that they do more harm than good. Yet doctors like me prescribe antidepressant tablets to people with dementia who become depressed every week. Why? Because every doctor hopes against hope that their patient will be the one who gets better. We can't treat depression in people with dementia because we don't understand it. It could even be a completely different condition to depression in people who don't have dementia. I wanted to try and understand what is going on in the brains of people living with dementia who become depressed. To do this, I used human brain tissue samples the size of my thumbnail. All of the people had dementia before they died, and some of them had depression as well. When you look at human brain tissue under the microscope, it looks a little bit like this. And I used a process called cell separation to turn this into these to focus on 2 particular cell types. Now, when you think about brain cells, you probably think about these cells, the neurons. The electrical and chemical messengers that these cells send to each other form the basis of our thoughts, feelings, and even movements. Antidepressant tablets work on these cells. But there are many other types of brain cells, including these bad boys called the microglia. These ninjas of the nervous system normally sit quietly, but when they sense something that shouldn't be there, they leap into action and literally move through the brain tissue, trying to track down the bad guys. My work found that there were changes in these nervous system ninjas in people who became depressed as well as having dementia. We need to do more work to refine our knowledge of these changes, but studies like this could perhaps lead to new treatments that actually work to treat people who become depressed during their dementia journey. But ultimately, it's about helping people like my grandparents to be able to live happy, independent lives, while scientists like me continue to search for a cure for dementia itself. Thank you.
Lindsey Sinclair, everybody. Oh, thank you so much. I think it sounds like really important research. Have we got some questions? Have you got a question, Nick?
Yeah, absolutely. So what's the kind of next step for this research? Like where do we need to go next to start to actually figure out how we can make drugs that will treat depression under those conditions?
That's an excellent question, and I'm currently writing a grant application
great,
to try and address that. So partly because human brain tissue samples are difficult to come by because, let's be honest, we all need our brains inside our heads while we're alive. Human brain tissue is quite difficult to come by, so this was necessarily a study looking at relatively small numbers of people and a relatively small number of brain areas. So I think we need to check our findings in more brain areas, make sure that we've got it right, and then start narrowing down, so working out exactly what the thing that we can target with drugs is. Because we want these treatments to work, we don't want it to be something that we give and it's just as ineffective as the antidepressants that we've got already.
Thank you.
And have you got a question, Mark?
Yes, it's really important work that you do, and I can tell you care, and you made me care. Can you talk to us a little bit more about the motivations behind your work? Was it your grandparents that really solidified that, or were you in that zone already?
So I think it was my grandparents that really solidified that. So the first of my grandparents to pass away with dementia was my maternal grandfather, and he died when I was about 5. So I was too young to really be aware of that. But my maternal grandmother died of it when I was 18, 19 and just about to go to medical school. So I was a lot more aware of that. And then my paternal grandparents died when I was already a doctor. So it very much was something that we talked about at home, and it was clearly something that was important to my family, and that just ignited a passion in me. And also, neuroscience is cool. I really love it.
Cool. Thank you.
It sounds like a really personal story. Thank you so much for sharing it with us. Give it up one more time for Lindsey Sinclair, everybody.